Welcome to Type T Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Samsung Odyssey G5. I'm going to go over the pros and the cons and my own real life experience that I've had with this monitor. And if at any point during the video, if you want to check out this exact same monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. I do got you guys, but let's jump right into it. All right, now this is a 32-inch VA panel. It also comes as a 27-inch model, all the same stats, just a little bit smaller and a little bit less expensive. And it's 1440p at 144 hertz. Now this is a pretty good PPI for a 32-inch screen. You're getting about 93 pixels per inch, which is kind of like what a 1080p 24-inch monitor would be. Now, if you get the 27-inch, you're gonna get a higher PPI, so that's something to weigh. Now, the contrast ratio is great compared to an IPS screen. This has a 2500 to 1 contrast ratio. Most IPS are gonna be about 1000 to 1. So the blacks are gonna be a really inky, deep black. Now, compared to some of the competition, this is not quite as high of a contrast ratio, but the blacks are gonna be the same level as these other competitors in the same price range, and that's because the peak brightness is not quite as high. All right, but let's talk about the biggest pro of this monitor, period. The reason this monitor is even on your radar is the 1000R curve. This thing is awesome because of the curve. Now, you look at the stats, you might be like, is this a gimmick? Well, I have to tell you, it's not. I've used a lot of 32-inch monitors, a lot of curved 32-inch monitors, and by far, this one, when you put it on your desk, completely different experience. The immersion is much greater than something like a 1500R curve or an 1800R curve. This is absolutely the biggest selling point of this monitor, and you should only get this monitor if you really want that immersive curve. Now, this being said, you will get used to it, but whenever you go back to a flat panel after this, it's gonna seem really, really weird. Playing stuff like Warzone, especially first-person shooters, on this monitor is really, really cool. All right, so that's the biggest pro, but let's talk about the biggest con now, and that is the brightness. This thing only hits 250 nits, which is good for normal use indoors in a dim room. If the windows are open, you're gonna wanna get a curtain and close them, or at least get some sort of curtain. You might not need blackout, but you're gonna need some sort of to cancel out that light a little bit. Most of the time, this won't be an issue for you, but for someone that uses monitors constantly that have over 400 nits of brightness and some well above that, this is definitely a change. However, it's not like a deal breaker issue. All right, now let's talk colors. This is an 8-bit panel natively. It covers 100% of the sRGB color space, although it lacks wide color gamut support. All right, now this monitor also has FreeSync Premium, which is pretty standard, but you also have a bunch of different response time settings, which are normal, faster, and then fastest, I think. You're just wanna leave it in fastest. You put it to the faster or the fastest one possible. It's gonna cause pixel overshooting, and you're gonna get inverse ghosting, so you don't wanna go with that. But when you have FreeSync on, you cannot manually change those, although I'm pretty sure that it just keeps it in faster. So that's the one you want it in. Now, moving into pixel response time, this only says 1 millisecond MPRT, which is motion picture response time, which basically means absolutely nothing. If you ever see MPRT, you basically can't utilize it to tell the actual response time because manufacturers can just change the test so many different ways in their benefit. I could not find a 1 millisecond G to G response time for this, although it's probably somewhere around 4 milliseconds, maybe more, maybe less, probably not less. All right, now let's talk ghosting. Ghosting is absolutely there. It's a VA panel. Every single VA panel has ghosting. Although comparatively to other monitors in this price point, 32-inch curved monitors like Asus is offering and Gigabyte's offering, it's pretty much exactly the same as those. The ghosting is not really that different. If you're a serious gamer, you're gonna notice it. If you're not, you probably won't. Now, there are some accounts that I've heard some reviews that people have had really bad ghosting. That's not to do with the actual monitor. That's just quality control. The one that I got has not had any of those issues. So there is a possibility that quality control is not there for the Odyssey G5. However, if you get it on Amazon, you're gonna be completely fine if anything does happen because Amazon makes returns really easy. So I highly recommend doing that instead of buying it used or like open box somewhere. Then you won't get the actual return policy. All right, now if you guys watched my unboxing, you would have seen the stand is not the best. It's completely plastic. There is no metal anywhere on it. There is quite a bit of tilt, but there's no swivel, there's no height adjustability, there's nothing else. It feels the worst out of any stand I've ever used. It's perfectly fine and it's perfectly stable. it just does not feel premium at all. And especially compared to like Gigabyte or Asus, it does not feel like it's the quality that those are. Even though those aren't like super high quality, they're probably like mid-grade stands, this doesn't feel like that. And another weird thing is this is Vesa mountable, but it's with 75 by 75 millimeter Vesa mount, which is weird. It's like every other monitor that is this size, and even a lot of 24-inch monitors use 100 by 100 millimeter, which is strange because a lot of like monitor arms that you're gonna find are gonna be 100 by 100 millimeters, not 75. So that's kind of weird. I don't really like that. And the last thing we're gonna talk about is the menu system is actually really, really good. Not quite on the level of LG's, but it's almost there. It uses a single joystick to navigate, which is really easy to use. It's quick to turn the monitor off. It's quick to change any settings. If you want to turn FreeSync on or off, or change the response times or the color profiles, it has a bunch of that stuff. And you can change all that stuff very easy. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's easy to do with that joystick. All right, but overall, should you guys get this monitor? I would say absolutely if you want the immersive curve. If you don't want that super immersive curve, go for like the Gigabyte offering, because that one you're gonna get a little bit better brightness, but again, you're not gonna have that immersive curve. So if you wanna get this monitor, do it because of that curve. It's so cool. Again, guys, if you do wanna go pick up this monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. But yeah, this is a really cool monitor if you want that curve. But that's the selling point of it. There's a couple cons like the stand and everything like that, but once you see this thing with the curve, it's worth it. Again, if you don't like the curve, definitely go with something else. And not that you don't like a curve, but a really intense curve. Go with something like the Asus or the Gigabyte offering, because then you're still getting a curve, but it's not quite as intense. And some of the other stats are gonna be a little bit better, like brightness and having a height adjustable stand, stuff like that. But guys, if you do wanna see a comparison between the Gigabyte, Asus, and this monitor, I'm gonna do a triple comparison very soon, so definitely subscribe to Type C Tech Reviews to see that. But if you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, help me out and throw a like below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This was Type C Tech Reviews, and I already said the outro, so I'll see you guys in the next video.